Hello, I'm Angela Johnson and welcome back to the docrafts Crafty Centre, where today we're going to do some textile printing using some unusual methods, but ones that are really effective and very easy for you to do at home. The whole project that I was working on was a wall hanging, and actually I've used some calico for the base, and I've just added 2 wooden hangers either side just to support it. But you see all those lovely coloured printing in the middle? I've used the Permaset inks that I'm going to show you how to use today, and I've created my own printing block using funky foam. So let's get crafting. So to start to make the printing block, I have a sheet of white funky foam, and I'm just going to use a regular pen to draw the design. On the outside, I've just gone round a shape to create the hexagon, and the lovely thing about using a pen is it's really smooth, and the minute I'm into the drawing, not only am I making the design that I can see it, but I'm creating an indentation in the foam. That indentation, when I go to do my design and I go to put my ink on, everywhere that I have a pen mark will come out as white, and everywhere that's white will come out as part of the design. So it is a reverse technique that works really well, but without too much pressure. I've created the indentation. Now, in order to present this onto my fabric, I wanted to cut out the hexagon shape. So I've already prepared it, but I've taken it one step further. Because I want to apply ink to the top, I've attached the whole pattern onto a piece of acetate so that when I go to print it onto my fabric, I can clearly see where the design is being printed, and then when I want to lift it off, the acetate at the side is giving me finger holding spaces so that I'm not actually touching the design, and then I can move it along and reuse this printing block. To prepare for the printing, I've got the Permaset ink, and it comes ready mixed. It comes in a lovely range of colours. And what the first thing you'll notice is it is the fluidity of the ink. It has a really lovely texture to it, which is perfect for this type of printing. I've got a brayer, and I've also got here, now this is a bit unusual, but this is something I find really works perfectly well. This is an old printing block that I had that actually I dropped and I broke a corner off. So I've had this around for a long time, and I use this with inks, and it really does provide me with a flat base to roll my ink on. Another thing you'll notice about these inks is that you really need very, very little to create your project. So I'm just using a plastic spatula, put some ink onto my block, and I'm going to take my brayer. Now this next bit, you just want to make sure that you have completely even coverage on your brayer. So work one section of the plate and make sure that there's no lumps going onto your brayer of colour. You just want a smooth, general cover all over, side to side of the brayer tool. Then I'm going to go back to my mat. So I'm going to ink up my design. I'm going to take more paint, more ink, and continue to ink up my design ready for printing. You can clearly see that the design underneath is showing through from where I had the indentation of my pen, but the colour is being applied beautifully to the top of the stamping pad. Now the interesting thing as well about these inks, although this is going straight onto foam, you would think that it would dry quickly, and therefore I wouldn't have enough time to get coverage and to print it. But the inks stay workable continually. They don't dry too fast. It has a very good medium, and it gives me enough time to ink up the whole project without any parts drying. Obviously I'll get some texture. I'm going to be printing onto texture with a textured base, and the whole key to having lovely printing is that it should have some variance in how it comes up. I think I have a really good coverage there. So easy to pick up because I've used that piece of acrylic on the back. Now I have my piece of fabric. This is just a piece of calico. I'm going to place my printing on them, and I'm going to place this in the center of my project. So down it goes. And the next part is just use your hand to flatten it off. Make sure there's totally even transfer, and obviously make sure that you're working on a flat surface, because once you lift this off, you want to make sure that all your image is transferred. Now again, you'll see the beauty of having that acetate, because I can lift the acetate off and I have my beautifully printed image onto my calico, which I think you can see all those lovely designs that I drew onto the funky foam transferred beautifully onto the calico. Now with these inks, if I ironed the back, I can make this permanent and washable, and therefore I could do this onto t-shirts. You can create runners, or as we did earlier, take that design and keep reusing that stamp that I've made and make a repeating pattern that you can then create a wall hanging like I've done, and using the different colours. I hope you enjoyed this technique, and I look forward to seeing you again at docrafts very soon.